Hey friends, it's Deanna here, and today we're making the Be Determined tunic. And I'm actually making the top version, and I am doing a band. I'm going all out. I'm doing every step just because I want us to be able to do it all. So we're gonna get started. Before I get started though, I do have my pattern all cut out, but I wanted to remind you of our fun fan giveaway where we're giving away a Ellie and Mac $50 Ellie and Mac gift certificate every month. And we will be giving away that to one of our fans. And the only thing you have to do to be qualified to win is to make sure that you subscribe to our channel. So pause and subscribe now if you haven't, and then comment below and let us know that you are subscribed. Let us know what you like about our patterns. Let us know what you want to see of our videos. Let us know anything that you want to let us know just below on our comment section, and you will be entered to win that $50 Ellie and Mac gift certificate. So yay! All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Like I say, I already cut out all my pieces. This is going to be the Be Determined, and this is gonna be for my little niece. My son is playing baseball this year, so I'm making her a fan outfit for my son. So, and I might put some writing on the front of this top, so it's gonna be super cute. So we're gonna get started. So I've got my front here. This is gonna be my front. This is what I mean. I'm gonna probably put some writing right here. And here's my back, and we're gonna put them right sides together and meet at the shoulders. I will be using my serger, but you could either use your serger or your sewing machine with a stretch stitch. Okay, so I'm gonna sew those shoulders together. You can use a lightning bolt stitch. You can use a zigzag stitch. Whatever stretch stitch your sewing machine has will work just fine. Okay, so there they are. My shoulders are together, and I have been advised a couple of times to always steam, and I always kind of forget, so like when I remember, I do it. We're gonna grab I'm doing the little ruffle too on the shoulder. So I'm gonna grab my ruffle. Now, let me tell you this in advance. This pattern, all the ruffles are meant to be left raw. Because this is a knit fabric, it doesn't really fray. So these are meant to be raw. But if you wanted to hem them, if you wanted to have a hem, you could do, it's making noise. If you wanted to do a hem, like a rolled hem or anything like that, then you would add that seam allowance to the bottom of your ruffle when you cut them, okay? So you can add that to it if you want. I'm not going to hem it. I'm just gonna leave it raw because it's just knit fabric, so I'm fine with leaving it raw. So we're gonna go ahead, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the ruffle. We're gonna grab where the straight part is, not where it has a shape, around the shape. We're just gonna go to the straight part, and we're going to make a long stitch because we're gonna gather that we're gonna gather it to the width of our arm side. Ow. So we're doing that on the straight part of the ruffle. Okay. So here's my straight part of my ruffle. I did that gathering stitch, so I just did a basting stitch, just a straight stitch, and now I'm gonna pull it. And sometimes I like to do it on a different color thread, just so I can see it, and it helps me when I go to remove it. Or you can just leave it the same color thread, and then that way you don't have to worry about it. So now I'm just pulling one of those threads to gather my ruffle. And I'm just gonna gather it the width of the arm side. gonna gather a little bit on this side, all the way. Try to make it even. Okay, and I probably should have marked where my front was, but I can kind of see right here where it comes to a peak. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab it and see it's almost the same width. I just need to gather just a tiny bit more and make them even, make those gathers even. And I'm gonna show you how to do it with this one, and then I'm gonna go back and do the other one. That way you don't have to watch me do both, but I'm gonna show you. So anyway, it's gathered, the width of it. See how that is the width of it? And now I'm gonna pin it right sides together. So the right side of my ruffle to the right side of my shirt. And I'm gonna pin it to the arm side, right here. And then I'm going to baste it on, because I'm gonna put this one on, baste it on, and then I'm gonna put my sleeve right on top of that to kind of sandwich this ruffle in there. So you wanna make sure that it's not gonna move. So basting it on, it's nice because it just leaves it on there, so it doesn't move out of the way as you're trying to, when you're trying to sew the other step on, when you're trying to sew the sleeve on. That makes sense. And honestly, when it comes to the edge right here, I rather leave a little piece kind of hanging out, so instead of it coming in, so that way it's nice and long. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a basting stitch. It's just a long stitch. I'm using the same stitch that I used for I'm using the same stitch I used for gathering. That's weird. I'm not even moving it. Ah, it got stuck. I'm like, why is it doing that? Did you see me freak out there for a second? I'm like, why is my sewing machine sewing without me pushing the pedal? What is going on here? All right. It was stuck under my thing. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, why is it doing this? Is it broken? Please don't die on me. Anyway, so there it is. So there's my ruffle. So like if you were just to do the ruffle and you weren't doing the sleeve, look at how cute that would be. Adorbs. But it is coming to fall. So I am going to add my sleeve because I want my little knees to be nice and bundled up. So I am going to find the top of the sleeve. So I do that by folding it and then going all the way to the top. And see where my ruffle is? I'm going to put my sleeve, the right side of my sleeve, to the wrong side of my ruffle because I want it to be right sides together with my actual shirt. So we're going to go right here at the middle where that seam is, and we're going to put that sleeve there. And we're going to go up to one side on top of the ruffles, all the way to the one side. And then all the way to the other side. And if you want to put more than one pin, more than 3 pins, which is what I did, you can put way more pins, whatever, how many pins you want to put on there, but to make sure that you have it all set up. Okay, so here we are. We're going to go ahead and sew that sleeve on. Remember, you're sewing through all 3 layers. Make sure you're sewing those ruffles on. And make sure you're not sewing anything else that's not supposed to be in there. So all this bottom, move it out of the way. Now I gotta make sure that I did catch all my ruffle. So I'm looking at it both sides. and it's been caught. Good job. Yes. Sometimes it doesn't work out quite right. Now you can go ahead and pull out all those basting stitches, or you can wait till the end. That way you can do it off camera and you don't have to bear with me the whole time. So yeah, you can pull out those basting stitches because they're just to pull. This is gonna be so stinking cute. Look at this. I'm already loving it. So now we're gonna turn it, and well, now you would do the other side, but I'm gonna show you how to finish this up right here, and then I'll go ahead and do the other side. Okay, so we're gonna turn it right sides together, and I'm gonna go down the sleeve to one side, trying to match those lines, even though I'm not very good at that. And then we're gonna go down the bodice. Make sure that it's met right there at the two seams, and go down the bodice like so. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and sew all the way up the side. How cute is this going to be? I'm so excited. All right, so now that I sewed up the side, I'm gonna show you this side. Look at how cute. So my arm is basically done. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do my other arm, and then we'll come back and finish the other steps. All right, so I sewed the sides, and as you can see, I did the sleeve already all the way. So we're gonna do the ruffles to this other sleeve over here. So I've got my top ruffle and my bottom ruffle, and we're gonna put them right sides together, and we're gonna sew them together at the raw edge, at the short raw edge, to make it one continuous circle. Remember that these are meant to be left raw. There is no hemming on these. So if you want them hemmed, you will have to make add an extra ½ inch for a seam allowance, and then you would have to hem them at this step. This is where you would hem them, or before this step, okay? But they are raw, see? Raw. I know they look kind of stiff right now because I'm, yeah, so cute. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab and you're gonna do it to both. And we're gonna do a gathering stitch because we're gonna gather it at the width of the cuff, the end of the arm. And so I'm doing just a long basting stitch all the way around. And what I like to do, and I'll show you, is I like to overlap them. So there's one down here. I start at here, go all the way around, and end on the other side, like this much on top of each other. So I go away from each other. Not on top, but like right next to each other. So that way when I gather, I don't have a gap that's not gathered, if that makes sense. I'm gonna do it to the top ruffle as well. Trying to get the bottom to stay out of the way, because I don't want to catch it going in. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab my sleeve and my ruffle, and I'm gonna pull together the width of the sleeve. So we're just gonna pull and gather the width of the sleeve. Pull and gather. Okay. And after I do that, now that these two are on top of each other kind of right here, I go ahead and tie them together because I don't want them to come loose. So I just tie them together for now, and then when I'm done attaching, then I'll go ahead and remove them. Yes, it makes it just a tiny bit harder to remove it. You probably will have to use a seam ripper to remove it, like kind of to pull at it instead of just swiping it out. But I'd rather do that, a little bit of an extra step, so that way they are gathered correctly and they're not like too wide or too whatever, you know. I'm gonna do the same thing for this one. So I'm just pulling the one string on the of my stitch, okay, and make sure those gathers are kind of even. With something this small, like the gathers, you know, obviously get them even, but if they're not like, ooh, they're not perfectly even, you won't be able to tell. So now I'm gonna tie those two strings together, that beginning of the stitch and the end of the stitch, so that they don't come apart, the gathers don't come apart, okay? So there it is. Make sure the gathers are pointing up, so when you put them in, and make sure they're all kind of sort of even. There's the width. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our sleeve and we're gonna put our first one right sides together. So I'm gonna find that seam right here and I'm gonna put it right sides together over their sleeve. This is the small one. If you're only doing one, then you would only have to do this to the one ruffle. But I'm doing two ruffles, so I'm gonna grab, so this is right sides touching. Now I'm gonna grab the longer ruffle, the bottom ruffle, find that seam, turn it inside out again, find that seam. I'm gonna match up that seam with the wrong side of the other ruffle. So the right side of the longer ruffle is touching the wrong side of the shorter ruffle, and the right side of the shorter ruffle is touching the right side of the sleeve. You need me to say that again? The right side of the longer ruffle is touching the wrong side of the shorter ruffle. The right side of the shorter ruffle is touching the right side of the arm. And I want to make sure that my ruffles are sticking up. My gathers are sticking up so that they will all get caught when I'm sewing them together. I had oatmeal today. I feel like I have a piece of oatmeal stuck on the back of my throat. So yes, now that they're all together, I just pin it a few times. And now if you want to take an extra step right now, you can go ahead and go back to your sewing machine and baste it together and then sew it together, because sometimes, just to be more confident if you'd like, but I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna sew, make sure you're sewing those three together and make sure you're not catching anything else underneath. So when I'm sewing this, I wanna make sure I take my time and make sure that I pull everything out of the way that's not supposed to be there. This is a hard one to sew because I'm sewing the smallest size. I wouldn't say it's hard, it's just challenging. And I know that I didn't catch one right here. I'm gonna go back and catch it. I didn't catch the... Come on. Pulled it. There we go, I pulled it too hard. I didn't catch the small ruffle on there. And then you pull it down. And once they're done, you just pull out those strings and steam. The sleeves are done. How cute are these sleeves? Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and move on to our, let's see, we'll do our neckband. Oh, here it is. I'm like, where's my neckband?
I'm just going with a white neckband. I don't know, sometimes I like to do a funky neckband, but I'm just doing white. Right sides together, and we're gonna make it one continuous circle just like we did with the ruffle. Okay, and I'm gonna fold it wrong sides together. And I forgot to show you my trick that I learned to do before so usually, actually, I just learned it not that long ago, so that's why I forgot. You can iron it wrong sides together first before you sew it. That way it's easier to fold afterwards, because it's kind of hard sometimes when it's already on the circle. Like, it gives you a hard time to fold when you're trying to fold it wrong sides together like this. Especially if it's like cotton lycra like this is. Cotton lycra tends to like roll a little bit. And then we're gonna mark our quarters. So here's my one end, and I'm gonna go to the front, and I like to do a little nip. Just a little clip right there that I'm gonna eat when I serge or sew together, but it's easy when I remove my pins to see where I'm at. And then I'm gonna meet the front and the back, and I'm gonna go to one side and then the other side, and those are my quarters. And then I'm gonna do the same exact thing to my neckband, my neck hole. I'm gonna meet the shoulders at the top, and we're gonna go to the front, and I just do a little notch, and then we're gonna go to the back and do another little notch. Then I'm gonna meet the front and the back, because our shoulder seams are not our quarters. They're a little bit off to the front, and mark. If you use your shoulder seams as your quarters, then your band will not be even. Okay, and now we're gonna go ahead and attach our band. And how we do that is we put the right side of the band to the right side of the top. So the top needs to be right side out, and we match those quarter points that we made. Those little marks together, because you're gonna have to stretch the band a little bit to fit the neck. Okay, so now that they're sewed together, we're gonna go ahead and sew it on. Okay, and you always want to make sure that you have everything else out of the way except for what you're supposed to be sewing. So I start a little bit, I go and grab my neck section, and you pull with my fingers, make sure it's even. Pull a little bit, and go. Then I go to the next section, make sure everything's out of the way. Make sure the 3 layers are even. Next section, I do it slowly. I take my time with these bands. And my band is done. And then I just give it a good steam. And if you want to, you can top stitch that neckband. How cute is this top? Now I just gotta finish my waistband. So we're gonna do the baseball at the front and just the stripes at the back, because I didn't have enough baseball fabric. These were just like a little pieces of remnant that I had from making stuff for my son. So we got the band, and we put in right sides together, the 2 bands, and we're gonna sew at the short edge to make it one continuous band. So we're sewing at the 2 raw edges. Alright, so now that they're 2 continuous band, 1 continuous band, 2 continuous band, one continuous band. We're gonna fold it wrong sides together, just like we did our neckband. Meet it at the raw edges. So I would say like a hot dog bun. Choo choo choo. This top is so cute. I love how the style of this, all these ruffles are just my fave. Okay, so I'm meeting at the 2 seams. I'm gonna meet those 2 seams and I'm gonna go forward to the front and the back, and those are gonna be my front and my back. And there is 0 hemming on this top. If you did it this way with the band, you didn't hem anything at all. I know some people are scared of hemming. I'm a little bit scared of hemming, but now that I have my cover stitch, I'm not so scared anymore, but I used to be. So we're gonna go ahead and find the front of my top and the back of my top. So we meet those side seams and we go to the front and then we go to the back. And then we're gonna tuck that band right into it, into my top, and match our side seams, our front seam, our front notch, our other side seam, and our back notch. And then we're gonna sew it and we're done. How simple was that top? How cute. To be ready to cheer her cousin on with her little baseball tee. The cutest little baseball t-shirt out in the ball field. I'm gonna tell you that. How cute is this sinking thing? I will steam it a little bit more on here. You know, sometimes when it gets a little bit wavy, you just need to give it a good steam, and then you'll fix it. But anyway, I can't wait. I think I'm gonna put some vinyl on here and it will be ready. Look at how cute this is. Those little ruffles. Oh, I love it. I hope you enjoyed sewing this along with me. Please let me know below if you have any questions about anything I did. Once again, this is the Be Determined pattern from Ellie and Mac. I did it all on cotton lycra. This is all cotton lycra. And let me know if you have any questions below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, stop and subscribe. And then if you haven't joined us on our Facebook page or Instagram page, come join us. We have lots of people doing lots of creative things. You want to come and be part of it. We want to see what you're making. We want to inspire you to make tons of more things, and you can see all the awesome patterns that we have. All the information is below. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!